was harassing her, he ends up getting fatally in Baltimore, where they're both from. And then recently on a live, Chrisean was like, you know, I told him when he was to me that he was gonna die, and he ended up dying. So that's...
Get in here, because what I'm about to tell you makes the Kardashians look like a calm church picnic. The Zeus CEO just pulled off the most chaotic plot twist of 2025, and Chrisean Rock is somewhere punching air, Wi-Fi signals, and probably a ring light. This man didn't just betray her, oh no. He detonated a whole nuclear-style scandal by allegedly leaking a fake DNA test that has the entire internet screaming. So, who's the father? Like it's the world's trashiest game show. And baby, the mess does not stop there. This saga has more twists than a pretzel factory and more confusion than Blueface reading paperwork. Because apparently, not only did Zeus allegedly cook up that paternity test like a microwaved Hot Pocket, but rumor has it Chrisean got paid to play along, while Blueface got paid to pretend he understood the results. Now the streets are whispering. The blogs are foaming at the mouth, and Ronnie, the man who tried to demand the real test before mysteriously dying, is suddenly the ghost in the group chat. This ain't drama. This is a digital earthquake. Buckle up. Because the truth, it's uglier than the paternity test font Zeus used. The streets were already buzzing long before the Zeus CEO decided to crack open the gates of chaos. But absolutely nobody expected the drama to explode the way it did. It all started with whispers, the kind that slither through comment sections and travel faster than a Blueface tweet. People swore the Zeus paternity test never felt right, never looked real, and never made sense. The font looked suspicious, the wording was confusing, and the reactions from Blueface and Chrisean felt faker than a rented chain in a low-budget rap video. But everyone brushed it off, because when it comes to Zeus, confusion is basically part of the brand. Then came the reveal that would make every messy blogger do a backflip. Word on the digital street was that the Zeus CEO allegedly signed off on a staged non-invasive prenatal DNA reveal, complete with dramatic camera angles, forced shock faces, and a pair big enough to make both Blueface and Chrisean act like they understood what the test said. The results were written in the most unnecessarily complicated medical jargon imaginable, and Blueface spent half the live squinting like he was reading hieroglyphics. But that confusion wasn't accidental. It was allegedly part of the show. Behind the scenes, whispers began circulating that Chrisean wasn't just going along with the test, she was benefiting from it. People claimed she agreed to the Zeus scheme because it guaranteed her more screen time, more clout, and more cash. And for someone already drowning in drama, $100,000 was more than enough to slap on a smile and pretend she was filming the season finale of Maury, Apocalypse Edition. The problem? That single test opened a Pandora's box even Zeus couldn't close. Because right around that time, Ronnie, her ex, her hometown flame, and allegedly the man who had been demanding a real paternity test, pulled up with accusations sharper than a razor. He wasn't whispering. He wasn't hinting. He wasn't speaking in riddles. Ronnie went straight to Instagram Live and said Junior was his son, not Blueface's. The comments were exploding like fireworks. People were taking screenshots before he could blink. And the internet began to stir, according to Ronnie. The only reason he didn't push harder earlier was because he believed the Zeus test. He trusted the network, the footage, the dramatic music, the whole production. But when he found out that the test was allegedly part of a paid reality stunt, he snapped. He demanded answers. He demanded clarity. He demanded the real paperwork. And he demanded Chrisean give him what he felt he deserved, a straight answer, not a Zeus-sponsored magic trick. But Chrisean wasn't hearing any of that. She refused to give Ronnie a new test, refused to entertain his suspicions, refused to answer his calls, and refused to deal with the man who claimed to be the real father. Every time he pressed, the tension skyrocketed. Every time he publicly demanded accountability, she doubled down. And every time he questioned that Zeus paperwork, the internet grew more suspicious. It was a messy loop of accusations, denials, and cryptic posts that made every follower start drawing conspiracy charts in their notes app. Then things took a dark, chilling turn. Ronnie told his followers he would be taking her to court if she kept refusing the paternity test. He said he didn't care about the drama, didn't care about Blueface, didn't care about Zeus, he just wanted the truth. But before he ever had the chance to step foot in a courthouse, he was gone. Suddenly, tragically, violently, Baltimore police found him outside a home, shot and left without answers. It was ruled a homicide. It was labeled targeted. It was the kind of tragedy that instantly sent shockwaves through social media. That's when Chrisean's old clips resurfaced. Clips where she bragged about warning him he would die. Clips where she said people who play with her always get hurt. Clips where she practically treated consequences like a divine punishment she personally ordered. Those clips spread like wildfire. People were stitching them, slowing them down, zooming in, breaking down every syllable. They didn't just go viral, they went nuclear. And whether she meant them literally or metaphorically, the internet decided the timing was too eerie to ignore. Ronnie's family reacted with heartbreak that shattered anyone watching. His uncle posted a tribute that read like a scream for justice. His mother wrote about losing her son in a way that made millions feel the weight of her grief. She even claimed online that her son had been in a lived-in connection with the drama surrounding Chrisean. These weren't random commenters. These were the people closest to him, and their posts lit up entire comment sections with suspicion, outrage, and theories. Meanwhile, the chaos pushed pressure back onto Chrisean. She needed proof. She needed clarity. She needed something to shut down the growing storm. So she did what she thought would settle it. She posted the paternity test she allegedly took in 2023, except the internet wasn't buying it. The formatting was strange, the numbers looked off, and people who worked in medical fields were commenting like angry Yelp reviewers. But the real nail in the coffin came when Steve Wilkos, yes, Steve Wilkos, the legendary "You Are Not the Father" king, stepped in. Steve personally called the hospital and exposed that the test number she posted didn't even exist. It matched no names, no sample dates, no mother, no father. The case number wasn't even from the correct year. It was the investigative equivalent of someone turning in homework that still had the Google watermark on it. The moment the clip aired, the internet combusted. People were screaming, "She made it up!" in all caps. Blogs were spinning. Comment sections were in chaos mode. And the world realized that every claim, every denial, every tear-filled moment on Zeus might have been one giant scripted illusion. At the same time, Blueface wasn't letting the moment go. He went online bragging about breaking into her house, taking Junior to the hospital, and running his own DNA test behind her back. Not exactly Father of the Year behavior, but he filmed it with pride like he was showing off a new car. And when the results allegedly came back saying Junior wasn't his, he celebrated like he won the lottery. He said he was relieved, he was grateful, and he was thanking God with the enthusiasm of someone who just found a receipt for a refund. That's when he dropped the bomb. He claimed the Zeus test was fake. He claimed he got paid to act shocked. He claimed the network told him how to react. He said they gave him and Chrisean $100,000 each to sell the moment like an Oscar-winning performance. To him, the whole thing wasn't real. It was content. And the more he talked, the more people realized they weren't just watching a messy relationship, they were watching a monetized storm created for entertainment. All of it the fake test, the alleged payment, the staged reactions, the confusing paperwork. The missing case number formed a web of chaos that tied Zeus, Chrisean, and Blueface together in the internet's biggest paternity scandal. And every time a new piece came out, the entire story cracked open even more. Because now the question wasn't just who's the father. It became who's lying, who knew what, who paid who, and most importantly, why did Zeus get involved in something this messy? The pressure wasn't stopping. The drama wasn't slowing. And the truth was only getting darker. And the truth was only getting darker. The moment Blueface dropped that Zeus paid us $100K to fake everything bomb, the internet entered a level of chaos scientists haven't even named yet. It was like every messy meme page, drama blogger, and TikTok narrator simultaneously clocked in for overtime. You couldn't scroll for 3 seconds without seeing somebody reenacting Blueface's confused face from the Zeus test. acting like they just got handed a chemistry exam they didn't study for. People were posting reaction videos with captions like, "Me trying to understand how Zeus faked a paternity test but can't fix their streaming lag." Then celebrities started chiming in. Because nothing attracts a celebrity like a scandal bigger than their last flop. Rap bloggers were eating popcorn on live streams. Comedians were using the situation as fresh material. Even random C-list influencers who haven't trended since Vine suddenly had opinions. One of them even tweeted, "Zeus paternity tests got more plot twists than Game of Thrones Season 8. And honestly, nobody disagreed. But the real escalation began when people noticed the Zeus CEO was suspiciously quiet. Too quiet. The internet loves noise, especially during a scandal. Silence is basically a confession at this point. People began tagging him under every leaked clip, every screenshot, every video, demanding answers like he personally owed them child support. They wanted to know everything: who approved the test, who wrote the script, who hired the camera crew, and who thought it was a good idea to let Blueface read medical paperwork on camera. The pressure was enormous, and the CEO's silence turned the internet into detectives with way too much free time. Then came the memes though, the memes. People were posting Zeus DNA test templates like they were Canva graphics. Not excluded as the biological father became the new "you are not the father," but with more confusion and less credibility. Fans even edited Maury Povich's face onto Zeus promotional posters, dragging the entire network like it was a Black Friday sale. Maury himself didn't comment, but the internet decided he would have handled this mess with more dignity and better lighting. Meanwhile, Chrisean's behavior didn't help her case. Instead of calming the flames, she decided to go live and start dropping cryptic, unhinged monologues about how people who play with her always get hurt. It was giving villain origin story energy. People clipped her sound bites and layered them over dramatic music, making it look like a trailer for a Netflix true crime documentary titled "The Girl Who Broke Baltimore." Every time she talked about consequences, the comment section went insane with theories. Some were reaching Olympic-level skill in the art of reaching. Ronnie's old videos also made a return to videos where he calmly asked for a DNA test. Videos where he stood outside telling Chrisean to stop dodging him. Videos where he made it clear he just wanted clarity. Now those clips seemed even more haunting. The internet started connecting dots like a crime board in a detective show. They posted comparisons, timelines, side-by-side screenshots, and circulated theories that would make conspiracy forums proud. And as if the scandal didn't have enough limbs already, Carlissa, the internet's favorite agent of chaos and Blueface's mother, jumped into the conversation with zero hesitation. She went live dragging Chrisean for filth, accusing her of dodging Ronnie on purpose, mocking her fake paperwork, and demanding she stop playing with people's sons. Every sentence Carlissa said spawned 10 new reaction videos. People said she delivered her monologues like Shakespeare in a wig. And honestly, the accuracy was jaw-dropping. But the biggest twist came from Steve Wilkos. The moment he exposed Chrisean's alleged fake 2023 test, the scandal mutated into something much bigger. It was no longer just a paternity dispute, it became a potential manipulation scheme, an alleged network involvement, and whispers of a cover-up. People were debating whether Zeus knew the test was false or whether they just didn't care because drama equals views. Online forums started breaking down how easy it is to buy fake paternity paperwork online. Some users even found templates for sale that looked suspiciously identical to what Chrisean had posted. The receipts weren't just damning, they were humiliating. And because the internet is savage, they turned it into a joke overnight. People were like, Chrisean really picked a DNA test the way we pick phone wallpapers. Then you had the people who believed the whole thing was a setup. They blamed Zeus. They claimed the CEO orchestrated the entire situation to drive subscriptions, using Blueface and Chrisean as tools. According to them, Ronnie's suspicion, Chrisean's refusal, the staged Zeus moment, the fake paperwork, all of it was part of a reality TV machine that fed on chaos. The conspiracy grew so intense that bloggers started referring to Zeus as the toxic Avengers. Meanwhile, Blueface was doubling down. He didn't care about being messy. He didn't care about backlash. He was treating the situation like a victory parade. Every post he made was pettier than the last. He called Chrisean a liar, claimed she had been with 10 other men, and acted like he had been vindicated by a higher power. He bragged about breaking into her home to take Junior to get retested, proudly telling everyone he didn't ask for permission because he had business to handle. The internet clowned him for being bold, enough to commit a crime, but too fragile to read a DNA test result without stuttering. And while all this was happening, Zeus viewers were turning on the network. Suddenly, every past suspicious moment from every Zeus show resurfaced. People were accusing the network of faking scenes, manufacturing drama, manipulating storylines, and exploiting their cast from day one. The scandal wasn't just damaging to Chrisean, it was roasting Zeus from the inside out. But the flames didn't stop there. As Ronnie's name continued trending, fans started pointing out how chilling the timing was. Ronnie demanded the test. Ronnie planned to take her to court. Ronnie said he wanted answers. And then, not long after, Ronnie died in a targeted attack. Even people who weren't fans started questioning the coincidence. Why did all this happen right after he tried to get a real paternity test? Why did Chrisean immediately mention consequences after his passing? Why was his family openly blaming her online? It was messy, terrifying, suspicious, tragic, and confusing all at once. People no longer cared about the DNA test, they cared about the story behind it. They wanted justice. They wanted honesty. They wanted someone held accountable. Zeus fans demanded the CEO speak. Chrisean fans demanded she defend herself with clarity. Blueface fans, well, they were just enjoying the chaos. As usual, as memes, podcasts, live streams, and Twitter Spaces broke down every angle of the scandal. One thing became clear. This wasn't just entertainment anymore. This was a cultural wildfire, burning everything in its path. Reputations were collapsing. Timelines were unraveling. Receipts were being dug up from places nobody even remembered existed. Everyone was waiting for the next twist because in a scandal this explosive, every silence felt suspicious. Every post felt strategic. Every old clip felt relevant. And every new claim felt like the match ready to light the next fire. And the next fire was coming. It was coming faster than anyone realized. As the scandal spiraled into a full-blown social media hurricane. The aftermath hit harder than a Blueface diss track at 3 a.m. Nothing about this situation faded quietly. If anything, the drama grew legs, grabbed a microphone, and started running laps around the internet. The question, who's the father? Stopped being a simple inquiry, it became a cultural crisis, a digital cliffhanger. A reality TV Greek tragedy starring 3 people who couldn't stay off Instagram live if their lives depended on it. Zeus, normally loud and proud whenever one of their cast members sneezes, suddenly turned into a ghost town. Their official page kept posting random clips of past shows like nothing happened, hoping the conversation would move on. But the internet wasn't about to let go. People flooded the comments with "Where's the DNA explanation?" and dropped the paperwork, liar, until Zeus had no choice but to start turning off comment sections. Nothing screams guilt like disabling comments on a network built on drama. Chrisean wasn't doing much better. Her reputation had taken more hits than a punching bag at a boxing gym. Those cryptic monologues she'd posted about people getting hurt and reaping consequences came back with a vengeance. People weren't joking anymore. They were analyzing her tone, her wording, her pauses, her eye contact. They were dissecting her live streams like forensic analysts on a crime show. Every sentence she ever said, every old post she ever made, every argument she ever had was suddenly framed as evidence. Blueface took this as his moment to shine, or rather, to rub salt into a wound like it was a full-time job. One moment he was celebrating the alleged DNA results. The next moment he was dragging Chrisean online like she was a stubborn suitcase at the airport. He called her delusional, manipulative, unstable, dishonest, and then repeated it in 5 different wordings just for extra spice. He even claimed he was spiritually relieved, as if he had just completed a 40-day fast. People joked he was acting like the pastor of Putty Pentecostal Church. But the deeper consequence was the shift in public perception. People were no longer viewing the Zeus test as a quirky reality TV moment, they were viewing it as a manufactured storyline. Possibly a manipulation tactic, maybe even a cover-up operation wrapped in reality TV sparkle. Suddenly, every network involved looked shady. Zeus wasn't just a platform, it became the villain of the story, the mastermind behind the curtain. People began comparing the network to a chaotic version of the Illuminati, except instead of secrets and power, they controlled messy couples and fake test results. What truly intensified the public frustration was the lingering shadow of Ronnie's death. His family's heartbreak echoed louder than the viral memes. His uncle's post, his mother's grief, their accusations, people couldn't ignore it anymore. The timeline was too loaded. The coincidence was too eerie. The stakes were too real. This wasn't just internet drama. Someone was gone. Someone who had begged for the truth, demanded a DNA test, and died before he could get it. The internet began demanding accountability. They weren't satisfied with explanations about paid reactions or confusing paperwork. They wanted answers about the emotional manipulation, the pressure, and the moral responsibility behind turning a real-life paternity case into a Zeus-approved spectacle. They questioned whether the network understood the gravity of what they played with. They questioned whether the participants understood how badly things could spiral. They questioned why nobody stepped in when the situation clearly went beyond entertainment, died. And through all this, Junior, the actual child at the center of the storm, became a topic of concern. People began asking who was protecting him, who was advocating for him, who was looking out for his emotional future, while the adults turned his existence into a scandal-fueled circus. The commentary shifted from jokes to worrying, from memes to moral outrage. Chrisean, feeling the heat, tried to defend herself. She insisted she wasn't the monster people painted her as. She said she never meant for things to go this far. But the internet was unforgiving. People weren't ready to extend compassion. They picked apart her explanations like critics reviewing a movie they already decided they hated. Even her attempts to clarify were turned into memes or mocked as scripted performances. At the same time, the noise around Blueface's alleged break-in didn't disappear. People pointed out how wild it was that he proudly admitted to sneaking into someone's home, grabbing a child, and taking him for a DNA test like he was running a mission for the CIA. Fans didn't know what was more shocking, the act itself or the fact that he bragged about it online with confidence. Everyone debated whether he should be held accountable, or whether it was simply another unhinged chapter of the reality show life he lived. Meanwhile, Zeus found itself facing the fallout of its own creation. Blogs began calling out the network for exploiting vulnerable people, stirring dangerous situations, and pushing emotionally unstable cast members to the brink for the sake of content. Even casual viewers were calling for ethical guidelines, investigations, and accountability. Zeus went from a guilty pleasure to a suspicious empire almost overnight. The pressure grew until the scandal reached a boiling point where nobody knew what was real anymore. Was the test fake? Was the payment real? Did Zeus orchestrate the chaos? Was Chrisean responsible for the lies, or simply swept into them by a network hungry for controversy? And most importantly, why did every person involved treat the situation like a game when the consequences were so real? Even now, the aftermath remains a tangled mess of allegations, confusion, heartbreak, and unanswered questions. The reputations of everyone involved have been shaken like a snow globe. Chrisean's credibility cracked. Blueface's reliability took a nosedive. Zeus' reputation was dragged through digital mud. And Ronnie's death became the haunting reminder that drama can go from entertaining to devastating in one fast step. Yet the audience hasn't moved on. They're still glued to the updates. They're still waiting for the next shocking twist. They want someone to break the silence. They want Zeus to confess. They want Chrisean to clarify. They want Blueface to stop celebrating like he won a championship. And they want the truth, whatever chaotic shape it takes. But if there's one thing this scandal taught everyone, it's this: when it comes to reality TV, receipts don't lie. But the people holding them sometimes do. The truth might be twisted, buried, dramatized, or distorted, but it always finds a way to crawl out into the spotlight. And this truth, it's not done causing damage. Not by a long shot. The consequences are still unfolding. The whispers are still growing louder. The drama is far from over, because in a world built on cloud, chaos, and cameras, scandals don't die. They evolve. They explode. They come back bigger. And they always leave a scar. And there you have it, family. The digital circus nobody asked for, but everybody canceled plans to watch. The Zeus CEO allegedly betraying Chrisean. Blueface celebrating like he just got paroled from a group project. A fake DNA test that wouldn't pass a Google Lens scan. And a storyline messy enough to require hazard pay, all wrapped into one beautifully disastrous saga. If your jaw is still on the floor, don't worry. That's the normal reaction around here. Now, before you run to Twitter to argue with strangers who still think they're experts in forensic science because they watched one episode of CSI. Do your boy a favor. Smash that like button like it owes you money. Hit it the way Blueface hit that I'm not the father celebration dance. Hit it like this hit publish on that fake test. Drop your thoughts in the comments too, and don't be shy. I want theories, conspiracies, predictions, screenshots, timestamps, voice notes, whatever you got. Tell me if you think the CEO masterminded this, if Chrisean knew the test was cooked, or if Blueface just lucked out harder than someone hitting the lottery twice in one day. And of course, subscribe. Not the casual maybe later subscribe. I mean slam that subscribe button like you're breaking into a house for a DNA test. Because you already know this channel stays delivering the wildest scandals before your favorite bloggers even wake up. Drama drops here faster than Zeus drops new reality shows. This is Scandal Spark, the place where chaos meets commentary, receipts meet reality. And no celebrity survives the truth without limping a little. Stay tuned, stay messy, stay ready, because the next scandal is already brewing. And trust me, it's hotter than this one. It's hotter than this one.